Welcome. Today we are going to be going over 10 of the most haunted places in the world. Before the video starts, check the description for our giveaway info. The winner will be announced at 50 subscribers. It is completely free to enter, steps are in the description below. Now on to our list. Up at number 10, we have the Amityville House. This house located in New York has a gruesome history. There was a horrible family murder that took place in this house. A 23-year-old took a gun and shot both his parents and 4 siblings in the same house. Although, the legend of this house follows the family who moved into this house after the murders. George and Kathy, along with their 4 children, moved in despite knowing the tragic background of the house. Shortly after moving into the house, the whole family was described as changing. The family would say they would hear footsteps running across the house that was not any of them. Each one of them began to change as well. George would fall sick much more often and went days without taking a shower or changing his clothes. Kathy had nightmares almost every night. The children even began to fight with each other constantly. After this kept getting worse and worse, the family decided to temporarily move out of the house. Although, on the night they were planning on leaving, it ended up being their last night there ever. The family doesn't like to explain the full details of what happened that night, but Giori said, "The hardest thing for those people who experience a haunting is the loss of being able to communicate with anyone else about it." After these events, a book was made on it, and even a movie made. Next up at number 9 we have the Eastern State Penitentiary. This facility was built in 1829 and looks more like a castle than a prison. This was the first prison to have solitary confinement, and the prisoners did everything alone. They would eat alone, sleep alone, go outside in a yard alone, and even when the guards would come to take them out, they would put a mask on them so they couldn't see anybody at all. The solitary ended up closing due to overcrowding, but opened up as a regular prison again until it closed in 1970. Apparently the prison was abandoned, and rumors of strange things have been happening there to visitors. People claim to hear voices, footsteps in the yard, the sound of someone pacing. Cell number 12 is also famous for having a mysterious disembodied laugh. Next up on our list at number 8 we have the Edinburgh Castle. This castle was first built as a military supply post in the early 12th century. In 2001, this castle became one of the biggest sites for a paranormal investigation ever. A team that consisted of 9 researchers and around 200 others came to explore the castle for any paranormal events. 51% of the participants claimed that they had felt some paranormal incident, such as your body suddenly going cold, someone tugging on your clothes, hearing footsteps, and more. Even more on top of all the paranormal activity. Underneath the castle there is a dungeon area where victims of the Black Plague were left to die. Next up at number 7 is the Gettysburg Battlefield. Many of you may know this battle as it lasted for 3 days and was one of the bloodiest in American history. Around 50,000 soldiers were killed in this battle alone. Many people who have been to the ground believes that it is haunted and that the souls of the soldiers are still there who are unable to accept their fate. These souls wander the field searching for their rifles and walking around the field. Next up at number 6 we have the Myrtles Plantation. This place was built in 1796 and is thought to be one of America's most haunted houses. Some witnesses say that an astonishing 10 murders took place in this house alone. Apparently, the house has several ghosts that roam its halls. One of the stories from this house, a plantation owner cut off the ear of a slave and was hung, and apparently she lurks around the plantation. Next up at number 5 we have is the Queen Mary ship. Most of you probably know this for being a famous ocean liner that was nicknamed the Grey Ghost. The Queen Mary was eventually turned into a hotel where thousands of people stay each year, and apparently there are many paranormal spots across the ship. In fact, you can even take a tour around the paranormal spots where the souls of the sailors who died on the ship still remain. One of the most famous ghosts on this ship is a lady dressed in a white dress who some have claimed to see with their own eyes. Next up at number 4 we have the Tower of London. This tower was made in the 11th century and used to be a prison and place where people were executed. It is said to be one of the most haunted places in Brighton. There are apparently multiple ghosts that come through the fortress and are the spirits of Anne Boleyn and Henry VIII, who was beheaded in 1536. This tower has been known for having several paranormal spots and ghosts roam the halls even to this day. Next up at number 3 we have the Wallys House. This house was apparently so haunted that the US government even claimed that this house harbors spirits. The Travel Channel has also named this house America's most supernatural home. When Wally built this house around the mid-19th century, he built over a site where Jim Robinson was hanged in 1852. Wally and his wife claimed that they would hear Robinson running through the halls. Apparently both Wally and his wife also haunt the house now, and visitors said they have seen a young girl in a long dress who would sit in the dining room. Up next at number 2 we have the White House. Most people have never heard about this before, but the White House is one of America's most haunted places. Apparently in the laundry room you can hear the whispers of Abigail Adams, who was the wife of John Adams. Dolly Madison's spirit also apparently lives near the Rose Garden. There are many rooms in the White House which apparently inhibit the ghosts of former inhabitants, even in the Lincoln bedroom. Last on our list is the Winchester House. This mysterious house has one of the most ominous construction projects in history. Sarah Winchester's husband and child died, and she went to Connell to see her, who said her family had been killed by ghosts of those who died from her family's guns. The seer told her the only way was to contract a mansion that could stop these spirits. Because of this, Sarah ordered a mansion for her to be built. It took working every day for 38 long years for the 160-room house to be built completely without the help of any blueprints. Some of the features the house has are a staircase that leads to nowhere, doors throughout the house that open to a brick wall or 10-foot drops, and a window with a spider web etched on it. That concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed, it would mean so much. I spend a lot of time on making these videos and would appreciate it. Again, as a reminder, giveaway info will be posted in the description. A winner will be chosen once we reach 50 subscribers. I hope everyone is staying safe and have a great rest of your day.